Imagine that moment when the world you've built in silence finally cracks open, and the people who made you invisible are forced to see you for the first time. That's where my story begins, not at the beginning, but at the breaking point. I'm Emily Carter, 32 now, a financial analyst by day, the kind who color codes her budgets and plans grocery lists like military operations. But beneath that, I'm the architect of my own quiet storm. It was at my brother Alex's wedding in the heart of Chicago's glittering Gold Coast. At the opulent Lakeside Pavilion, a venue I secretly co-owned through layers of anonymous LLCs, that everything shifted. They seated me on a rickety metal folding chair, shoved behind a marble column next to the kitchen's clanging doors. Like I was leftover baggage they hoped no one would notice. Servers bumped past me with trays of champagne, casting pitying glances, while my family laughed and toasted without a single look my way. That chair wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a declaration of war. One they'd waged for years without realizing I'd been arming myself in the shadows. Growing up in a cozy split-level home in Evanston, just north of Chicago, our family looked picture-perfect from the outside. Dad, Robert Carter, managed a logistics firm, crunching numbers on shipments that kept the city moving. Mom, Linda, was a school counselor, always mediating playground dramas, but blind to the ones brewing at home. Alex, my little brother by 3 years, was the star from the start, charismatic, ambitious. The one who declared at 10 he'd become a lawyer and had Dad beaming like he'd won the lottery. A defender of justice in the family, Dad had said, slapping Alex on the back. When I'd announced my finance major a year earlier, Mom had tilted her head and murmured, "That's stable, honey. But are you sure it's fulfilling?" It set the tone, Alex shone. I faded. He conquered. I coordinated. He inspired. I invisibly held things together. For too long. I swallowed it, telling myself that's just how families work. Someone has to be the reliable shadow so the light can dazzle. As adults, the divide deepened like a slow-spreading fracture. Alex sailed through law school at Northwestern, landing internships that had our parents bragging at every holiday gathering. I took a steady job at Midwest Capital Advisors, analyzing portfolios in a cubicle that felt as confining as my role in the family. But quietly, I was forging something else. Side gigs in wealth management for mid-level execs turned into a thriving consultancy. Carter Financial Solutions, hidden behind a veil of discretion. I saved a tech CEO millions in estate taxes through loopholes as wide as the Mississippi, but perfectly legal under Illinois code. His thank you? Doors to exclusive real estate deals, including a 25% stake in the Lakeside Pavilion, buried in paperwork no one in my family would ever think to dig through. By 30, my net worth hovered at $3.2 million offshore accounts, diversified stocks, a condo in Lincoln Park paid in full, all while they saw me as the frugal sister driving a used Subaru and skipping vacations to save for a rainy day. The betrayals piled up like unpaid debts, each one a quiet stab I filed away. In 2018, Alex needed $10,000 for a down payment on a car during his clerkship. "It's temporary," he'd said over coffee in my kitchen, his eyes pleading. Mom and Dad are stretched with the roof repairs. I transferred the money that night, saying, "Pay it back when you're settled." He never did. When I brought it up gently a year later, his face hardened. "Come on, sis. Law school's brutal." "I thought you meant it as family support." Mom chimed in on speakerphone, "Emily, don't nickel-and-dime him. He's building a future that makes us all proud." The message was clear. My contributions were expected. His were celebrated. Then came the gifts I poured my heart into. Like the custom home automation system for my parents' 35th anniversary in 2020. I'd researched for weeks, Installed it myself on a weekend off. Even programmed voice commands for Dad's favorite sports channels. That evening, Alex dropped by with news of his engagement to Vanessa Reed, daughter of a prominent Chicago judge. And the system was forgotten amid toasts to their power couple future. I dimmed the lights manually while they clinked glasses, my effort dissolving into the background noise. Vanessa entered our lives like a polished storm. With her sleek black hair, designer athleisure, and a PR job at a firm tied to her family's political connections. The first time we met at a family brunch, she sized me up and said, "Finance? That's so grounding. Every dynasty needs a bookkeeper, I suppose." Her laugh was sharp, like glass underfoot. At Easter 2022, I brought a date, Mark, a gentle architect I'd met through work. They barely registered him. Mom asking one vague question about building stuff before pivoting to Alex and Vanessa's tales of their Napa Valley getaway. Later, Vanessa leaned in while Mark stepped away. "Is he a rental? No offense, but you seem like the type who might need to outsource companionship." She giggled like it was banter, but it landed like acid. I ended things with Mark soon after, not wanting to drag anyone into the toxic web that had ensnared me for so long. The isolation gnawed deeper, a silent ache I buried under spreadsheets and strategy sessions. By early 2023, the cracks were fissures. I skipped a family barbecue due to a brutal migraine, texting Mom an apology. Her reply, "Always making it about you. Emily. Alex just closed a big case, be there for him." The event wasn't even about Alex, it was Dad's birthday. But the final blow came in May, via a misdirected email from Dad's estate planner. An update to their will, cutting me out completely. When I called Mom, her tone was breezy, "You're independent. Alex and Vanessa are starting a family. Buying that brownstone in Wicker Park. We figured you'd understand." Understand? It was erasure. Pure and simple. That night, I dusted off my digital vault labeled Echo Plan, years of notes, timelines, evidence of every slight, every dismissal. They'd reduce me to a footnote in their story. Now, I'd rewrite the whole damn book. Alex and Vanessa's wedding was June 17th, 2023, at the Lakeside Pavilion. I'd seen the booking cross my desk months earlier through my silent partner, approving their connections discount without a word. I showed up in a sharp emerald sheath dress, arriving on time like always. The coordinator, a temp named Sarah, checked her tablet and frowned. "Carter. Emily. Special seating." She guided me past the crystal chandeliers and silk-draped tables, past relatives chatting merrily, to that godforsaken folding chair half hidden by the column, servers' elbows brushing my shoulder as they rushed by. "This is per the bride's notes," Sarah whispered, mortified. Out of sight. No family photos. I sat, spine rigid, watching the ceremony unfold like a spectator at my own exile. Dad's toast praised his remarkable son. Mom dabbed tears over Vanessa's glow. No one sought me out. No one wondered. I endured the speeches, the dances, picking at a cold salmon plate on my lap, until 8:45 p.m., when I slipped out through the service exit. In my car, under the venue's glowing marquee, I allowed the rage to simmer, not explosive yet, but building, like pressure in a fault line. Activation came swift and surgical. As co-owner, I accessed the pavilion's CCTV, Vanessa gesturing at my spot with a smirk, Alex shrugging indifferently, my parents glancing and moving on. Emails from Vanessa to the planner, "Stick Emily by the service area, keep the vibe upscale." I reached out to Mia, a dropped bridesmaid who'd quit after Vanessa's barbs, now freelancing for a Chicago society blog. And I lawyered up with Harrington and Associates, where senior partner Elena Harrington confirmed the will's flaws, improper witnessing under Illinois probate law, plus breaches of equal beneficiary clauses. This is winnable. MS. Carter, she said. And damning. 3 weeks post-wedding. I summoned them to brunch at the Willow Room Bistro, another property in my portfolio. I booked the private alcove, arrived in a power red blazer that screamed authority, and laid out a dossier like a boardroom presentation. They strolled in chattering about their Bermuda honeymoon. But the air thickened when they saw my setup. What's this? Dad grumbled. I slid over the pavilion deed. My ownership bolded. You enjoyed the venue? That discount was my call. Shock rippled, Vanessa's denial, Alex's pallor. Then the bombshells, will documents, emails, footage. You've erased me, I said. Voice steady, but laced with years of pent-up hurt. Now, face the mirror. Cousins I'd invited midway, witnesses to decades of slights, filed in. Nodding support. I outlined the plan, suing for my inheritance share. Leaking anonymized details to Mia's blog for a wedding horror exposé. Fight. And it goes nuclear, I warned. Or atone. And we rebuild on my terms. Vanessa sputtered about privacy. Alex buried his face. Mom whispered denials. I left them with 72 hours and the bill paid. The fallout was a slow burn turning inferno. The lawsuit settled in 4 months, $320,000 to me. Plus costs, after court filings hinted at their bias, mortifying them in social whispers. Mia's piece exploded online. Forums doxing the elitist bride who banished her successful SL to the trash zone. Vanessa's PR firm placed her on leave. Client backlash cited values mismatch. Alex called in August. Solo, our marriage is crumbling. She resents me for not stopping you. He apologized. Wired the $10,000 with interest. I was blind to how we diminished you. It was raw. Tentative healing. Parents followed in November. Dad's call gruff, we messed up. Your mom cries about the distance. Invites came. Questions about my firm, genuine this time. I set boundaries. Accepting coffee, but skipping holidays until trust rebuilt. My business boomed. The publicity drew elite clients impressed by my resolve. I even invested in Mark's architecture startup. Reconnecting led to dates. His memory of my quiet defenses at that Easter warming the old wounds. Vanessa? She faded, ranting about my jealous sabotage while ignoring her own venom. But the real cost lingered, the loneliness of those silent years. The scar of betrayal from blood. Revenge didn't erase it, it just evened the scales. Now, I'm Emily Carter. Visible at last. Running an empire from the throne I claimed. The folding chair? It taught me that silence can be a weapon. But speaking your truth? That's freedom.